Good morning, Don Palayo here on June 1st, Sunday. Starting a new month. I've got a lot going on this month. This coming week, I'm going to be getting ready for my trip to Florida. I'm going down to Florida, probably going to be leaving next Saturday, early morning, probably, to go down to visit my youngest daughter. She lives right outside Jacksonville, and she's 13. She's excited to see me. I hate it. The stupid thing about divorce is that you don't get to spend as much time with your kids with divorce, and that's one of the things I really hate. I see my youngest daughter probably about 4 times a year. In person. We do FaceTime a lot. So we FaceTime and text and things like that too, but it's not quite the same. Anyway, but I'm going to be going down there next Saturday morning. I'll probably leave out of here probably in the middle of the night. That's usually what I try to do. I try to get at least past, I live in central North Carolina. I try to get past Charlotte and everything before much traffic picks up. Go down to Columbia, South Carolina, and from there, I hate driving on interstate highways, personally. I don't like interstates very much. I don't know why that's developed. I didn't have that problem at all when I was younger, but starting in like my early, late mid-30s, maybe my mid-30s, I started not liking the interstate. I kind of get a little bit of anxiety out there on the interstate, especially when everybody's driving so fast. You got these huge tractor and trailers out there, and everybody's doing 80, 85 miles an hour, and it's just, it's like I just like taking the back roads now, and I'll drive all the way to Jacksonville, Florida on mostly back roads. I'll take the interstate down to Columbia, South Carolina, because once you get past Charlotte, between Charlotte and Columbia, the interstate's not too bad. But then from Columbia, if you stayed highway, you would take Highway 26 over to I-95, and 95 is just nuts. I hate it. I mean, I've done it a number of times, but it's not enjoyable. It's not an enjoyable drive for me. So I take Highway 320. There's a Highway 321 that runs through Columbia, and I take that down to Highway 301, which takes you through rural South Carolina, rural Georgia, all the way down to the town that my daughter lives in outside Jacksonville. So that's what I've been doing lately, the last several times that I've driven that trip. It does add about an hour to my trip, basically, but it's well worth it to me. So I'm going over to see my parents this morning. It's Sunday morning. They've been getting on me about my two rear tires. They feel like my tires needed to be changed. I'm one of those people that likes to wear things completely out before I replace them, and it's like I'm looking at my tires. It's like I don't see any metal coming out of them yet. It's just I don't see any steel coming out of the tire yet. It's I can probably get another 1,000 or 2,000 miles out of these tires, right? And I am kind of like that. I'm kind of frugal that way, but I'm getting ready to do this big trip to Florida, and they're like, no, those tires look pretty worn. You probably need to change them. And my brother was here, and he looked at them, and he's like, yeah, you probably need to change those tires. I'm like, shoot, I don't want to yet. It's like I want to put it off as long as possible, and I am like that, unfortunately. But I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to go and do that today. So that's my day today. I was supposed to go out with my oldest daughter last night. We had plans to go out last night, and she texted me yesterday and said she woke up, she wasn't feeling very good. So she asked if we could do it tomorrow night, Monday night. So we're going to go out Monday night and, spend some time together. Friday night, I have every year my boss has a picnic at his house, like a summer cookout kind of activity. We're doing that Friday night. So I'll probably make an early exit from that. I think it starts at 6:30. I'll probably be there till maybe about 8, and then head out, and because I'm gonna get up early Saturday morning and drive to Florida. So I was thinking this morning, is just a lot going on right now with the economy. I've noticed I've just noticed things here in the last month or so. A lot of you know that I DoorDash. I've noticed that people aren't ordering DoorDash quite as much as they were. The DoorDashing has kind of died down a little bit. I got on the app last night, like 7 p.m., about 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. And I hadn't scheduled to work, but you can go on there, and if it's busy, it'll allow you to sign in. It wasn't busy on a Saturday night at 7 p.m. And I was like, wow, that tells me that people are really pulling back their spending. People are really not spending right now, because a year ago, it would have been very busy. They would have been adding additional revenue, additional payments to me to be working during that time, because it would be very busy. It wasn't even busy. It wasn't even red. It was like, wow, it wouldn't even let me sign in. I was like, I couldn't believe that, because I think that's the first time I've ever seen a Saturday night like that. It tells me that people are pulling back. I think everybody's hurting out here right now financially. I know young people are. Young people want to start their lives. You know, they want to have a family. They want to have a home with a family and kids. And although relationships are a whole nother mess right now, but I think that we're going to go through some things here over the next several months. I think you know, there's a lot of problems here in the world right now. I would encourage everyone to be buying assets as much as you possibly can, putting a little bit of money aside, buying, either stocks or if you don't want to buy stocks, if you don't feel like that's your thing, you could look into buying gold and silver, because I think those still got legs to run a good bit further. I have a good chunk of my retirement account in gold and silver right now, because I feel like those are going to almost of necessity explode because of government debt, money printing that they're going to have to do. So you could look into that. You could also look into other assets like real estate, land. I'm really wanting to buy a piece of land myself. I'm starting to think about that more and more. Not really so much for myself, but for my kids. I want to buy about a 10-acre plot of land out really rural somewhere, that could be kind of a refuge for them if things kind of go awry. They'd have a piece of land, and maybe when I get a little bit older, I'll sell my current home and build a new home out there, where they could go, have enough land to grow food and stuff on, far enough from a major town where it'd be relatively safe. I do worry about their futures a little bit, because things are getting pretty dicey. I saw the CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, came out and he said, I was shocked to hear him say this. He came out and said that America needs to be buying guns and bullets. And I think he was primarily talking about the government. He doesn't like this whole idea of the Bitcoin reserve either. Just like I don't. I don't think that's something the government should be involved in that much, in terms of a reserve or anything like that. I want the government buying tangible goods that we would need in a crisis. Things like oil, steel, war metals like steel, nickel, titanium, copper, that sort of stuff. That's what I want to see the government stashing away. I don't want to see them stashing away Bitcoin. I'm sorry. In a crisis, what good is Bitcoin going to be? I'm sorry, but I'm just, I'm not a believer. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'd much rather have gold and silver than have Bitcoin. So that's just how I feel about it. So I don't know. To hear Jamie Dimon say we need to be buying, stocking up on defense weapons, it's like, this world's not going in a good direction, you guys. And I don't think Americans in general are ready for that. Especially these young people. We've been pretty cushy. We've had a pretty cushy life here in the United States for the last 30, 40 years. Yeah, we've had a few hiccups along the way. We had, of course, 9/11 happen, and we've had some wars over in the Middle East and things, but we haven't had a major conflict. We really have not had a major conflict. We haven't had a draft. We haven't had any of that. And we don't really have a population. Our birth rate is not that really good enough. We're not having enough kids. And I think that if we went into a World War III or a major global conflict, I don't think we could depend on they keep saying that we need immigration to help our population growth. But if we went into a major conflict like that, I'm not convinced that all these immigrants are going to sign up to fight in that. I think they'll go home. I don't think they'll stay here. I think they would go home and not get involved in that. And then, we don't have the population to be fighting these big countries like China. I mean, yeah, we've got better technology and better weaponry, but they've got at least four times the people that we have. So I'm a little bit worried about all this. And it's like some of these politicians, they go out there and it's like they're cheerleading, getting ready for war. Yeah, let's get going. Let's get prepared for war. Let's take on China. And it's like, these politicians just seem like it's a game, and I'm really, and I heard Pete Hegseth, out there talking about this, and he's trying to rally allies in Asia and everything. I understand what he's trying to do. He was trying to rally some allies, trying to get them investing in their defense, because the United States can't carry the whole load. We can't be the world saviors. We just can't. Other countries are going to have to pick up some slack. One good thing I think is that India's population has overtaken China's, and India and China don't really like each other very much. They're kind of rivals a little bit, and India's economy is starting to grow pretty fast. I trust India a little bit more than I do China. They don't have a communist government in India. I do trust India a little bit more. Now I still think India is going to act in their own self-interest, but I don't worry about them as much as I do the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. The China, it's like the people, you can meet some very nice Chinese people. It's just their government. It's the Chinese government that I don't trust. I don't trust their government at all. But that's kind of where we're at. So, you might want to be stocking up on, just buying, if you don't have any weapons. You might be like me. I didn't grow up around guns. I did not own my first gun until I was in my early 40s, I think I was maybe mid-30s, maybe mid to late 30s, something like that. But I've got a few firearms now, probably not enough. I do have a good decent stock of ammunition at my house, although, if something really went on, happened, where I was feeling I needed to protect my family or hunt for food or anything like that, probably don't have enough. So it's something I have to think about a little bit more. I'd like to add some rifles to my, I have a 5.56, but I have a 22 long rifle. I've got a shotgun, and I have a revolver. I'd like to get some pistols too. I know you get more. I don't know what it is, but the revolver I just like more for like self-defense, like home defense type thing. I like the shotgun for that too, but a revolver, you don't get too many times where it jams. When you fire a revolver, it fires. These pistols can jam. It's like some of them are better about that than others, but I've seen my cousin at the range sometimes, and his pistols will jam, and it's like then you're sitting there trying to get this thing to unjam, and it's like I don't feel like I know enough about what I'm doing with the weapon to safely fix that, and I think that's why I hesitate purchasing pistols. Why I bought a revolver first, but I think I will probably add some pistols to my collection eventually. I would like to add some like hunting type rifles to my little collection that I have. But I have to also be thinking about other savings goals too. I've got to build some assets that generate income, that provide cash flow, and guns don't really provide cash flow. So sometimes people buy them and sell them. My cousin's done some of that, and he'll buy and sell guns, and trade them for things and things like that. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. I'm gonna go over to my parents' house. It's 7:30 in the morning. I get over here real early. They're always up though. They get up pretty early, so not a problem. If you guys have any questions or comments, things you'd like for me to discuss, post it in the comments. Please subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel and trying to get some, I just want to make people aware. I think so many Americans are asleep right now about everything going on. I mean, sure, they know the economy's bad. They know there's some rumblings around the world, but I don't think that the average American is really prepared for the world that we're moving into. And especially our young people, our children and grandchildren, need to be prepared. We need to really start, waking them up. And, the reality of the world can be a pretty harsh place at times. And we need to do what we can do to help prepare them for that future, So let's get to it. This is Don Pelayo signing out.